Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I've been following the news lately with the good Dr. Layne Norton's injuries and such lately, and yeah, I'm using his real name in this one. There's no need for us to play around and use this Layne Nordstrom stuff from in the past anymore. Let's just use his full legal name. Alright, I have some honestly held opinions on the situation because I've been watching his injuries, and you guys know a lot of people will come and tell me, hey, Layne gives great training advice, and I follow his programs, and I try to tell people the workloads in like his fat program that he put out and everything is really excessive for most of you guys. And I try to talk to you guys a lot about injury prevention and not hurting yourself. Well, previously, Dr. Norton had torn a pec and had to have it surgically repaired. Okay, I mean, everyone has an injury from time to time. If you train hard enough, long enough, it does happen. I mean, I've had an injury before from training excessively and stupidly. I tore my bicep many years ago. So I understand how these things happen, but they're oftentimes the result of stupidity and poor training methods. And it's my opinion that Layne Norton's training methods are piss poor. And the reason I say that is that the guy's 34 years old and he's already snapped up again. He's complaining about bursitis in his hips to where he can't even squat 135 without excruciating pain. He has 2 herniated cervical discs. All right, that's pretty serious stuff. And the thing is, it has to do with his training loads. He doesn't listen to other people. He might have a background in nutritional science, but when it comes to training programming, it's my opinion that what he does is stupid, and he trains like a fucking jackass. His technique is terrible on his squat, and it contributes to his injuries, and there are dozens of top coaches in the world who say that. There are coaches who claim they've told this to him in person, and he doesn't listen. He trains with things like high frequency, like 5-day-a-week, high volume training, trying to use undulating periodization year round, things like that. Just again, excessive volume, excessive frequency, screaming outwork, outwork. Well, it sounds like, Layne, you finally outworked your neck and you outworked your hips. When you got in this big conflict with me in the past, you quoted on your Twitter when you were jumping into battle with me that you were the indestructible god of war. If I recall correctly, that was the exact quote. Well, it looks like your pec, your neck, and your hips aren't indestructible. It looks to me like you're the self-destructing god of war. And everyone's like, well, I'm going to take his advice. Look how strong he is and how hard he works. And it's like, well, look what his hard work has done to him, because he trains hard, but he trains stupid. It isn't well thought out. He doesn't think about recovery. He doesn't think about connective tissue. He doesn't think about injuries, and he keeps hurting himself. And the guy is simply too stubborn to know when to quit. He's had 3 major injuries now, if you count the bursitis. And yet he's like, I'm going to rebuild myself. I'm rebuilding and I'm going to come back again. And it's like, Layne, no, you're not. You've already herniated 2 discs in your neck because you don't know how to train and you're too stubborn to change it or listen to anybody else. What you're going to do is put yourself in a wheelchair. Now, Layne is always throwing out all this nonsense, and this is another video completely coming up in the near future about me threatening him or threatening his loved ones or whatever. You know what, Layne? I have anything I would need to have taken you out a long time ago. You know what? I have no desire to do so. And in fact, watching you cripple yourself while you talk shit about me, and watching you cripple yourself while training like a complete jackass is way, way more pleasurable to me to sit back and watch than anything I could do to you physically. You're doing a good enough job destroying your own body without me having to do anything, without me having to come within 1,000 miles of you. It's just not necessary for me to do so. You're destroying yourself, and you're too arrogant. You're too stubborn to change what you're going to do. So it doesn't matter. You are going to cripple yourself and put yourself in a wheelchair no matter what anyone else says. And when you do, I'll be standing here saying that's karma. And again, everyone else who sits there and wants to watch what he does and emulate what he does, and they'll try to come and tell me, hey, you train lazy or whatever. I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm 5 years older than Layne. I can still rep out over 500 pounds on the deadlift without a belt, without sleeves, without wraps, without anything but shorts, a t-shirt, and chalk. You don't see me complaining about my hips hurting. You don't see me complaining about my knees hurting. I don't have any nagging injuries, and I still go in and train week after week after week, and I lift heavy weights, and I recover, and my body doesn't hurt, and I'm 5 years older than him. And 10 and a half years from now, when I turn 50, I plan on still being able to deadlift 500 pounds, and I plan on being able to hike up and down mountains while hunting elk still when I'm 50. How many of the guys who are emulating the sort of training that this jackass promotes can say the same thing, that they feel confident that if they train this way, that at 50 years old, they're going to be able to do the same thing? How many feel confidently that Dr. Norton, if he continues to try to train the way that he's training to rebuild himself and do the same jackassery and stupidity all over again, feel confident that he will be able to do the same thing? Because from where I'm looking right now, he's 34 and putting himself in a wheelchair. And this is the person that you guys want to get training advice from on how to lift. But you know what, guys? This is just my opinion. This is just my advice. If you guys want to emulate what Layne does and you want to train like he does and you want to snap your shit up, that's your body. It is your right to do with your body whatever the hell you want to do. So if you want to put yourself in a wheelchair too, just like he's going to do, then by all means proceed. You have every right as a human being and a free citizen to do that to your body if you so choose. I'm not going to argue with you. You guys do whatever the fuck you want to do. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.